Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Marchich here with your outlook for January 11th, 2018. For your Thursday, we're going to have mostly cloudy to overcast skies today. I don't think you're getting any precipitation until we get into tonight, but we will have an area of moisture that's going to move ahead of the main system coming Friday night into Saturday morning. But we'll have this tropical feed that's going to jump out ahead of it. It's going to be originating down in this area. It's just going to feed up like this across the region, and that's going to come in again mainly either side of midnight. I think you get some showery stuff during the evening hours, maybe mid-evening onward, and then as you move in later in the evening, you will get into a more concentrated area of showers. This is going to be in the overnight period into Friday. Okay, I do think you're going to have a lull Friday afternoon. I'm going to jump ahead here, but you can see the precipitation moving in from the south. Here's that area of precipitation moving in overnight. Again, on either side of midnight, you start seeing some showers out ahead of that main batch. But then we get to Friday morning. Here's 7 a.m. on Friday. And but you do get to 1 p.m. You still have some residual showers hanging around in some areas. But then you get a little bit of a lull just in between, because there's another one right behind it. There's going to be batch number 2 coming with this extra area low pressure moving up like this. And this one is going to be a decent rainmaker as well. I think in total we're talking about maybe an inch, inch and a half for most areas of rain between both waves, both tonight into Friday and then that break, and then again Friday night into Saturday morning. That's your grand total. So this is much needed rainfall. We are below average in rainfall, so or liquid equivalent if you wanted to melt down all the snow. Either way, we're below average. We could use the precipitation, even though most people would or some people would rather see this being a snow event. This is not going to be a snow event for the region. We'll be talking about that and the reasons why for the last couple of days, so I really don't want to spend too much time on that. But we do have the system moving up just east of the Appalachians. There was a question of whether or not it will go west or east, and it is taking the east path here, but the east path is still too warm for us to see any snow. The west path would have made there would be no chance of anything frozen whatsoever, and it would have given a bigger snowstorm out in these areas all the way back to Indianapolis, but that is not going to be the case because it's taking the path on the east side of the Appalachians, which means this cold air is going to wrap in behind it, and coming in from the north side. You have an Arctic front that's going to be pressing against this and changing this over from rain to freezing rain, sleet, and then snow further back west as the front is crashing in and the low is passing by. But it's, again, we're on the warm side of the front. If you're on this side of the low pressure is right here. If you're on anywhere on this side of the low pressure, which we are, you are on the warm sector. The colder side of the storm is going to be on the northwest side. Okay, so that's why they're getting all the snow, and we're not. Okay, so we go a little bit further from this point. I do want to show you right before it ends. This gets up into New England, southeastern New England, over Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island area. So the low pressure is sitting right here. You can see what happens is the cold air rushes in. It's trying to change this over to sleet and freezing rain. Now people are seeing these maps and are getting pretty excited. Temper your expectations. Okay, all this is telling me is that the freezing line is going to be crashing, and if there's any precipitation laying around at the end, at the very tail end, you could get a change over to sleet or perhaps a little bit of freezing rain at the very end. Most likely sleet. So you might have some sleet pellets mixing in with the rain before it ends, or maybe a complete change over to sleet in some areas. I wouldn't rule that out either. Far interior, out by State College, Williamsport, you might see it change over to snow before it ends. But this is at the very tail end before it ends. Okay, so this is not a big deal. This is not a major ice storm. And then that pulls away later Saturday morning. Here is a look at the NAM high-res future simulated radar for Friday evening at 10 p.m. You can see the showers starting to move in from west to east. And then here is 1 a.m. Still nothing really going on in this area. You can see this is all the sleet, freezing rain up in this area. The rain is indicated by green. We get to 4 a.m. Most of our area is getting inundated with moderate to perhaps even embedded pockets of heavy rain. And across the Poconos here, you have a changeover. These areas we are going to watch for that changeover. And this could be an ice accrual up in these areas. Okay, sleet back here in State College. Up to Williamsport. Freezing rain in between as that 32-degree line continues to work its way down. Now, it looks like it's going to keep going all the way down the coast, but wait a second. Here we go to the just 3 hours later at 7 a.m. It's starting to work its way down toward the Lehigh Valley. The problem is the precipitation's ending. It's starting to break up. So there might be very little precipitation left over by the time this makes this way. The 32-degree line makes its way further down. The Arctic front moves further down to the southeast. So you do have sleet, we think, across the Poconos. Okay, maybe a change of snow here at State College or in Williamsport at the very tail end. But you can see this is breaking up and very little residual moisture at 7 a.m. So it's going to be a timing issue. How quickly this moves down to the southeast, coinciding with how quickly the precipitation is ending from southwest to northeast. Okay, so don't expect a big ice storm here. I don't see that. The areas we're going to be watching for that potential for ice accrual is going to be anywhere up in here, anything northwest of that line. And for maybe a change to ice and then maybe a change to snow is going to be anything northwest of that line. Don't see any snow anywhere. All the snow is going to be northwest of this line right here. Which is the one above State College. Anything up here is going to be the snow. Anything in between is going to be the icing. Further south and east, you might have a few sleet pellets mixing at the very end, and that's about it. All right, that's what our forecast is right now, and I don't see too much of a change with that. So this is going to shut off. I'm going to go back to the global models because that model in particular ran out of range. Now we do have the Eagles game here in Philadelphia. That's going to be at 8 p.m. or excuse me, 4:30 p.m. You think I would know that? Here's South Philadelphia right here. You can see we're obviously in the clear. This is looking at 7 p.m. So I don't have an in-between image of 3 hours, but it is also clear. There's nothing for the entire game. We're not expecting any precipitation whatsoever. Temperatures will be in the 30s to start, and will be falling through the 30s throughout the game. Maybe a little bit breezy, at least initially. Okay, so that's the forecast for the Eagles game if you are going down there. If you're tailgating, also, as long as you get there in the afternoon, you don't have to worry about anything in terms of precipitation. This is going to shut off pretty early, we think, sometime between 7 and 10 in the morning. Okay, so it'll be out pretty quickly. After this point, we're going to turn colder here for Sunday through Thursday of next week. We're going to be on the colder side, and temperatures in some areas not getting above freezing during that stretch. And not brutal cold like we had before, but still cold and below average nonetheless. But this is cold relative to January. Normal highs, again, are in the mid-30s. So if you're 28, 29 degrees for a high, that's still below normal. Okay, going a little bit forward from this, we do have a little system here, a little clipper-type system that's going to move in here through the region on Tuesday. We'll provide a few snow showers. This has become less and less impressive with every run. Not really showing like a big deal. It's just going to be a few snow showers, maybe not even accumulations or minor accumulations at best. There are a few models that were a little more enthused, like the Canadian today was a little more enthused with this, and maybe the European was to some extent, but this does not look like a big deal. All right, and that's Tuesday. Just a few snow showers on Tuesday, and then we're back to cold here on Wednesday. That same system, of course, once it passes us, turns into a snow event for New England. And then finally we get to Thursday, and we are mostly sunny once again, but still remaining cold. I do think we're going to moderate and come out of this once we get past Thursday and we get into that January thaw period that has been well advertised for at least the following week, if not longer. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for January 11th, 2018. Have a great Thursday.